innovation in financial inclusion. So today we have a fantastic lineup of experts who are ready to share their insights and expertise. So let's kick things off by asking our panelists to introduce themselves.
Hi, good morning everyone. Myself, Abhiraj Alex. I'm a co-founder of a brokerage firm called GODO Co-Founder. I'm very happy to meet you all here. And I'm also a little bit jealous of the weather you have. Morocco is amazing, the weather is great. Most of the people, we come from Dubai, wonderful to meet you all here. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. There aren't many places in the world where I can sit on the stage, which I've been doing this since 2016, and I can say that to a lot of people over here. Been in the industry for over 15 years. I worked as a hedge fund trader for Bank of New York Mellon. I write for Thank you. I write for major institutions like NASDAQ, CNN, Forbes. I've been writing and covering blockchain and investing since 2016 as well. So I'm very excited to be here. And it was only 8 months ago when this particular event, someone told me, is going to take place. And I'm so excited to be here. And of course, everyone putting the effort together to bring so much huge community in Morocco, because the last time I was in Morocco was 14 years ago. And yesterday, mashallah, I had another chance to go to the mosque, Hassan Mosque, to say my Maghrib. It was an amazing experience after 14 years, how my journey has evolved and how Morocco has changed so much during these years.
Salam alaikum. J'espère que tout va bien. Kul shi fi amanillah. Welcome to our guests to Morocco. Hope you had a beautiful, beautiful stay and you profited from everything there is to take from this beautiful country. I'm Zakaria Sabti. I'm a researcher in artificial intelligence, and I'm also the CEO of Warren Venture, which is a venture builder specialized in building AI startups and launching them from Morocco, from Africa to the world. So I'm happy today to be in this beautiful panel with disruptors in the field of finance. And we hope you all gonna enjoy this beautiful discussion, and you're gonna take some information that maybe will be life-changing for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you for all those wonderful introductions. Me, myself, it's also my first time in Morocco, and so far I love the weather. So it's really, really good. And thank you for the warm welcome for all of us. So let's dive right in. So first question, so how can innovation drive financial inclusion? And can you give examples of those innovations that maybe you've been part of or you've seen?
So being a co-founder of a brokerage firm, GODO Capital Markets, I want to represent the industry which related to currency trading, commodity trading, stock trading, those kind of things, right? Innovation plays a critical role. If you see, last time when there was a stop loss and take profit as introduced, it made a vital change in the way the retail client started trading. After that, there was a big lack of innovation. We need to admit that. The last innovation was stop loss and take profit. After that, we couldn't see much which supporting the retail clients. But companies like us, we are not just a brokerage firm, we also focus heavily on the fintech side of the industry, where we want to reduce this gap and protect the retail traders, like how the retail traders can prolong or withstand more time in the market, because most of the clients who loses money is mostly retail traders. So we were, from day one, we started GODO 5 years before. From day one, we are putting consistent effort to identify a solution towards it. We are working on a platform called AlgoZest. This platform is typically meant to target retail clients, especially the beginners. The problem what we identified as a brokerage firm is when the beginners come and they start trading, they have given a platform which is given to an experienced traders. So the same platform is used by inexperienced beginners as well as the experienced traders, which we see as a major issue, which makes the retail clients to lose money. So we want to customize a platform which is dedicatedly for the beginners or retail traders. So when they come, the platform, also I find something very interesting with Binance. They have something called responsible trader, which means it reduces the risk of initial trader. So we are building our algo. I couldn't say much about it because it's in the final version. We are building it for like last 4 years. It's called AlgoZest. Hopefully by 2025 we will launch it. It's going to be an amazing platform for beginners. With that platform, what we will try to achieve is to slow down the retail traders losing their capital in few trades. Thank you.
Jasmine, I'll just chime a little bit to what Abby was saying. To go back to the original questions, what are the industries which have been changed and revolutionized during the period of the last 5 years or a decade? We've seen enormous amount of changes. For example, in your part of the world, we have companies like Alipay, WeChat. They've transformed the entire payment system. You can go to a shop. I remember a long time ago when I went to China for the very first time and I was trying to use Google and I didn't know Google doesn't even work in China. I was like, oh, okay, so I have to find some other solution. And then everyone was telling me, being from the UK, we did not have this one. I'm not downing my own country where I live, but I'm just making the sort of a comparison between the two. When I was there, I could use my phone to do everything by using WeChat, Alipay. And then, if you move on to the next industry, which is about identity, over in India, in Abby's part of the world, digital identity through startups have brought enormous amount of changes for farmers. And when we're speaking about these agriculture industries, within that, what is most important is the liquidity trap, which we call the liquidity trap. And I think financial innovation has addressed that part of the equation massively. Because if you are a small business, and many of you will own, inshallah, smaller businesses very soon, because a lot of people I see over here are very young people. But what I can tell you from my own experience, when you are a small business, you wanted to open a bank, a normal high street bank will not entertain you, one. Two, if they will entertain you, the fees would be so higher. And then being you guys as a startup, a lot of margin would be taken out. So these days, financial innovation gave birth to neobanks. Through neobanks over in the UK, we have Starling, Tide, and of course in Africa, you have so many other neobanks. They have changed the industry. Finally, the third one, and then I'll shut, is of course the crowdfunding. Look how many young people are over here, or how many young people have been in this particular conference. Everyone comes with an idea. What do you need? The second part of that is an investor coming in and putting money in. Now, if Abby is going to go, or Zakaria is going to go to a VC, a normal venture fund, and then give them his idea to what to do, a venture fund will pretty much preempt everything. They will say to you, no, this is not for us. You don't have an MVP, the minimum viable product, or you don't have the massive user base, or maybe they will just not like the idea at all. The financial innovation gave birth to what we call crowdfunding. What happened with the crowdfunding? If you have an idea, people sitting on this row, they like the idea. they can put in £100, 1,000, 50,000 from their own pocket. It would be a one pool. Right now, in the UK, if you compare the stock market of the UK with the US, one of the biggest thing that they talk about is why the FTSE, which is the main index, hasn't increased that much as compared to the NASDAQ. The reason is the pension funds in the UK, they are not allowed by the regulatory system, which I'm sure we will discuss that later on, by the regulatory system to invest within the homegrown companies. These companies are being acquired by United States. Because over there, smaller pension funds created a bigger pool, a huge liquidity, they can invest into smaller companies, take a risk. But over here, it doesn't happen. So I think these three are very, very important innovations which came through this financial transition that we have seen.
Thank you.
Well, these are two very good examples of financial inclusion innovation overall, but I would love to broaden up the spectrum a little bit and discuss about financial inclusion as a whole. And there is the I-pencil theories that says that millions of people have had hand in the making of the pencil, and no single individual had put more and more than a tiny fraction, infinitely small, in that process, in the overall process. So we can talk about startups that are directly financially inclusive and that are aiming to serve the unserved people. So companies creating, for example, low-cost digital payments. But even this could evolve to another kind of financial inclusion because, for example, a company like Paycode, for example, in South Africa, has created a local digital payment, but later that gave farmers the possibility to have a digital footprint. So they have invoices, they're traceable, which made them eligible to have loans, which made them eligible to get insurance and to touch on so many aspects and really be included in that system. If you zoom out a little bit, you can talk about the infrastructure, including the internet, introducing so many digital connectivity, giving internet to the universities and schools, introducing the kids in far villages to the technology as another sort of financial inclusion. And zoom out another layer as well, and you can look at the whole ecosystem as a whole, including the infrastructure, the road, the internet, the electricity, and everything, everyone that has participated, even in a small, tiny proportion in that overall process. These are all working together to give the possibility to fintechs in creating those financial inclusive products, because without that overall infrastructure, you cannot really innovate in that space.
Can't agree more, yeah. So innovation in financial inclusion has really come a long way, and what you see today is like so different 10 years back then. So of course it doesn't come easy. So what do you think are those barriers that we are still facing even now for innovation in financial inclusion? I'm sure there's a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Firstly, I want to thank my friends Zakaria and Naeem. They were covering broader perspective of financial inclusion. But here I would like personally to address more related to trading side of the thing because, that's where my specialty is. That's where what we are doing. So I think it can be more relatable to dignitaries around here. So firstly, if you see our industry, there are lots of people, there are companies, and everyone is talking about analyzing the market, predicting the market trend, or having a strategy which produce income. There are lots of companies which provides courses to learn. So this steps has been taken. But when it comes to a trading platform, I don't see any big revolution, or I don't see any big innovations in a trading platform. That's where it's lagging. Why a retail client or a beginner who's getting into a stock trading or currency trading or commodity trading, you need to go over the courses and learn how the market works, what is fundamental, what is technicals. He's gaining all the knowledge, but the end is going to use a platform which is lagging in innovation. So I think this is the right time for the industry to wake up and focus more towards the platform, because in the platform, lot can be done. If you talk about the risk management, risk-reward ratio, all this can be achieved from your trading platform. A client doesn't need not to keep his Excel sheet or workbook to do all these calculations and numbers to getting into a trade. The client needs to have peace of mind. That is very important in trading. The platform should provide more than an indicator or more than a chart or more than some analyzing tool. It's time right now, it's time for the platform to do more for the client, because we are in the world of blockchain, AI, and if you take any other industry, take pharmaceutical, take aerospace industry, they are doing amazing revolutions. 10 years before, where the pharmaceutical industry, 10 years now, like where they are, how much achievements they have done. But when it comes to financial service, the platforms, especially the platform which is used by retail traders, it's lagging. So it's the right time for the industry to step up. Us being part of the industry from GODO Capital Markets, we have a fintech division called GODO Fintech Limited, which is based in Dubai International Financial Free Zone. So where we backtest lots of technologies, which is going to help the retail traders, because today the industry is mainly dominated by retail traders, because I see that trading in financial instruments is a great opportunity, because anyone with limited amount of money, they can participate in this. If you want to do a second business, it's very hard. You need to employ people, you need to construct something, or you need to produce something. There are lots of challenges. So if someone is working 9 to 6, 10 to 6, after that he has some surplus time, you want to utilize his time, and he's motivated to earn some second income for his family, then the absolute choice we left with is financial instruments. And people have made fortunes in stock markets by trading in financial instruments. But in order to welcome the people, in order to protect the people trading financial instruments, we need to have a solid platform which does some part to safeguard the hard-earned money from the retail traders.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think no one would know better than Binance themselves,
I agree.
because the amount of challenges that you guys have gone through. And I wanted to address 3 points over here. Number one is, of course, the geopolitical events and the politics which plays in that massively. And we've seen that playing out in the blockchain space, especially in the crypto space. Number two is regulation, which is, again, where you guys come from in Dubai. You can see the adoption, innovation on the forefront of that. Number three is infrastructure itself, if it's great enough to support that. But one thing which sits above all these 3 major points is self-belief and faith. I'm going to give you guys a very precise example, which is real. There was a person called Dr. Mark, and this is a real story, by the way, a very famous oncologist dealing in the cancer department. He was leaving his house for a conference, got onto a plane, and had to do an emergency landing. The plane landed just after half an hour. He thought that, okay, he's going to take the car to go to his destination where he wants to go. Because of the rain and the bad weather, he got lost on his way, took the wrong turn. Ended up in front of a very humble house. He thought that maybe he will knock on the door and then get some help, and he did. A woman came with a hijab on her face to greet him. She said, "Come inside, have a tea, let the weather cool down, and then you can leave." So Dr. Mark went inside, had a tea, while the woman with the scarf started to pray. When she finished her praying, she blew on her child, who seemed to be incredibly sick, next to her. This individual, Dr. Mark, sitting there thinking, why this woman is so nice, but she is praying to God when God doesn't even exist or is not going to help his child, because child seems to be very ill. He asked that woman, why are you praying to God and what is wrong with your child? She said, my child has a very rare cancer and it is extremely expensive to cure my child, and the only person who can do that is Dr. Mark, the person sitting in front of that. Wallahul Azim, what it says is that it's all about faith, and then for you to do things beyond anything is more important.
Very fascinating, beautiful story. If I get too philosophical, just tell me, because I tend to go that far. But for me, one of the main reasons is lack of financial literacy, and this is a very, very important one. And I believe we have been taught about finance from our parents. We didn't really get any financial education at school. And that puts us in what we call the Plato's allegory of the cave, which I don't know if you know it, but if some people are in a cave and they have a fire and all they could see is the shadow on the wall and they cannot turn back. So this is their reality. This is the finance for them. So if we put this, we got our education from our parents and this is the context. But our parents lived in maybe non-so-stable ecosystem right after the Second World War, colonies, so many problems that we don't have today. So if we're just gonna follow this and trust the cash on our hand and not trust the financial systems and trust only what I see and not really go to the banking and really not really be part of that overall ecosystem, it's a big problem. That's first. Second, as you say, Naeem, are regulations. And I believe Morocco right now is doing some very good initiatives that I'd like to introduce. So they're talking about sandbox, regulatory sandbox, where you can go and test in a controlled ecosystem financial initiatives and fintech products. This will lead to us testing products and moving forward, which is more of a do with pragmatism, learning by doing. In that scenario, we're sure that we're going to have the products that we're looking to create. We're sure that we're moving forward with the innovation, but at the same time, we're protecting the users, we're protecting society from anything that could come out from this. So some people might say that Morocco is a bit slow in terms of regulations, a bit stiff. But when I see the overall system worldwide and what's going on, and I compare it to the overall situation in Morocco, inflation rates and social and economical impact, I'm pretty happy with everything that's going on here. Third aspect, which is trust. And people don't trust the banking system, the financial institutions. And the only way to build trust is through consistent positive experience. And this is what's lacking. You can get a positive experience someday, some other days you're not. So right now, I believe financial and banks are moving towards creating that trust and building it. And I believe fintechs should capitalize on that because they need to create partnerships with those institutions, with regulators to profit from their stability, from their trust, profit from their renown within the ecosystem, and build solutions that could be interesting for the market.
Thank you so much. Those are wonderful examples and insights. But I think we can all agree that one of the major challenges that we're facing around the world is because of regulation. So, and because of that as well, how important, aside from regulation, how important is financial literacy in promoting innovation and financial inclusion?
So if you see, again, I want to take Morocco as an example. When, last 2 days, including today, when I see the event, most of the attendees were like young people, like equally at least 50% of the attendees were young people, which shows that the young people is in need of search. What can I do more? They could have, definitely they might be going for universities, they might be just entered into into their career, but still they took effort to come to an event like this to understand what's happening around it. It's a great, it's a great step forward. And if you take the global picture, legal framework plays a vital role. If you take any successful cities like New York, London, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Dubai today, Singapore, all are very strong and financial framework. The regulatory framework is critical. You cannot avoid it. Without that, a country cannot aggressively grow in financial sectors. Because finance and economy is key. Today, if you take geopolitics, it's not no more. It's going to be like a physical fight. It's going to be economical war. The more the people are aware what is happening economical-wise, what is happening around the globe, how can I contribute? What is my country's GDP? What is my country's per capita income? What is my country's currency value? This is all critical. And this young age, I appreciate each of the youngsters who's taking that initiative to come and attend an event like this. And here also I see lots of youngsters sitting. So, that's very impressive. I see Morocco is on the right track. Thank you.
Zachary and Abby, they've both discussed two very important things, which is, as you mentioned, literacy among the young people, among the crowd. And of course, that's how Bitcoin became what Bitcoin is, through all those videos. I remember precisely sitting on my trading desk at Bank of New York Mellon and then talking to my seniors at the time that we should get into this business of custody, of financial innovations, and then how even at NASDAQ, or how other exchanges like Binance going to take us over. There was so much resilience at the time for them not to change, not because of pure arrogancy, but because of lack of literacy, lack of exposure to the technology. And it is only now that we have started to see those bigger institutions, or so-called the big boys, coming into this one. So I think that is very key. And going back again to the young people, I have two messages for this, especially from Morocco. GITEX is the biggest event in the whole world, with a 1.2 million square of footage taking place in Dubai. They chose Africa, Morocco, to hold GITEX. And I believe this particular summit, Africa's summit, is going to be of a high value to you guys. All what you have to remember is its faith, decisiveness, consistency, and always remember the story of Dr. Mark. Do not give up. You will not know when you will meet the person who's going to invest in your venture. You are in the right place to do it. Thank you.
I believe the lack of literacy when it comes to financial aspect is very important point to discuss, because right now we have so many financial products, a lot of them, and even me, and I assume that I'm pretty much educated, but in a different industry, I find myself lost when I get with financial people. Because I don't know if it's like they do it on purpose, but the terminologies, like you could easily get lost in the process. And it's like giving a very sophisticated tool to a caveman. So if like I go to like first Homo sapiens and I give them a phone without any directives on how to use it. So there's a process of navigation of that and understanding. And I believe the role of the financial institutions is to find ways to simplify it for us. And when I say for us, I include myself with the overall people, because if I'm not from that word, I'm not from that word, and it's very hard to get it. And I see, for example, next week we're launching a big initiative with an authority in Dubai, which is called the Financial Awareness Program. And it's very important to point out that it's Dubai with all the financial services available, with all the evolution that they had, with the banks, with credit card being just like everywhere, people being able to understand what's a credit score, and they still manage to have problems understanding in finance, and it's easy to go west. So it's very important to give people the tool first to learn and get the knowledge. Second, to manage a little bit, because you could tell me how to manage, but if you don't give me an app, if you give me a product to use, I would be a bit lost in the process. And third, maybe a first initiative to get embedded into the process, maybe through, I don't know, a freelancing platform or anything that would make me part of that big loop. Because right now, we feel that we are outside of the system, but we want to be in, and the system wants us to be in, but it doesn't seem to work. So we need Cupid to come and make us fall in love in a very beautiful way, and the only way to get there is through learning and literacy.
Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that financial literacy is really the key to innovation and financial inclusion. So thank you all for all your insights, insightful contributions. This has been a fantastic discussion. I hope you learned something from it. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your speech. Warm applause for them, please.